Love in the Shadows. Chapter 1. The Streets We Call Home. Joni's life was a daily battle against the odds. Growing up in a small, crumbling apartment, she watched her mother work multiple jobs just to keep their family afloat. The walls bore witness to her mother's sacrifices, but also to the shadows of despair that lingered in their neighborhood. Despite the chaos around her, Joni found solace in books. She immersed herself in stories of triumph, dreaming of a life beyond the confines of her reality. Her mind became a sanctuary, filled with vivid images of adventure, love, and success. She envisioned a classroom where children would learn and grow, unfettered by the chains of their circumstances. As she walked the streets, Joni often heard the whispers of despair around her, the tales of loss and violence that haunted her neighbors. She saw the flickering lights of drug deals happening in the alleys, the shadows of men lurking, waiting for their next opportunity. Yet, she refused to let the darkness consume her. Every day, she carried a book in her bag, a symbol of her dreams and a reminder of the world she aspired to create. Jack, on the other hand, was a product of his environment. He had lost his father to gang violence at a young age, leaving him to fend for himself in a world that offered little compassion. The streets were his school, and survival was the only lesson he knew. The constant threat of violence loomed large, shaping his decisions and his outlook on life. He became a protector of his younger siblings, ensuring they stayed clear of the gang life that had claimed so many of their peers. Yet, beneath his tough exterior, Jack harbored dreams of a better life, a yearning to break free from the cycle of violence. He longed to be the father he never had, to create a nurturing home filled with laughter instead of fear. Their worlds collided one fateful evening at a community center where Joni volunteered to tutor children. Jack had wandered in, seeking refuge from the chaos outside, only to find Joni surrounded by eager young minds. Her laughter was infectious, and her passion for teaching lit up the dim room. The children adored her, hanging on her every word as she animatedly discussed the stories of brave heroes and adventurous journeys. Jack was drawn to her, captivated by the warmth she radiated in a place so filled with darkness. As the weeks passed, Jack began to frequent the center more often, initially under the pretense of helping the kids. However, his true motivation lay in getting to know Joni. He watched her interact with the children, her patience and kindness evident in every lesson. They spent countless hours discussing dreams and ambitions. Joni shared her aspirations of becoming a teacher, while Jack revealed his desire to pursue a career in engineering, a vision that seemed almost impossible given his circumstances. One evening, while preparing for a community event, they shared their fears and vulnerabilities. Joni opened up about her mother's struggles and the weight of expectation she felt to succeed. Jack confessed his struggles with gang pressure and the weight of survival that felt suffocating. Their connection deepened as they explored the complexities of their lives, discovering that they were not so different after all. They both yearned for an escape, a way out of the ghetto that had held them captive for so long. Chapter 2. Kindred Spirits. As their friendship blossomed, Joni and Jack became each other's confidants, sharing their darkest secrets and deepest fears. They began to meet outside of the community center, often sitting on the steps of Joni's apartment building, where they could talk for hours without interruption. During these late-night conversations, they shared dreams of the future, painting a picture of a life filled with possibilities. Joni spoke of her ambition to create a safe haven for children, a place where they could learn and grow away from the influences of the streets. Jack shared his dream of designing buildings that would uplift communities, reflecting the beauty and resilience of the people who lived there. However, the harsh reality of their environment constantly threatened to pull them apart. Jack's former friends, who were still deeply entrenched in gang life, kept beckoning him back, tempting him with the promise of quick money and power. One night, as Jack walked Joni home, they were confronted by a group of men from his past. The air was thick with tension as the gang members demanded Jack return to the fold, taunting him with threats and promises of betrayal. Joni clutched Jack's arm tightly, fear coursing through her veins as she felt the danger closing in. In that moment, Jack faced a crossroads. He could either succumb to the pressure and return to the gang, or he could fight for the life he envisioned with Joni. With a surge of determination, He stepped forward, standing tall against the men who had once been his friends. "I'm done with that life," he declared, his voice steady. "I'm building something better." The gang members laughed, but Jack's defiance sparked a flicker of respect. Still, the threat was real, and as they walked away, Joni could see the weight of the world pressing down on Jack's shoulders. The following days were filled with tension. Jack found himself isolated from his friends, the gang members' threats echoing in his mind. Meanwhile, Joni was determined to support him. She encouraged him to channel his energy into his studies, reminding him of the dreams they had shared. "We can't let them win," she urged. "Our future is worth fighting for." Jack felt a renewed sense of purpose with Joni by his side, but the fear of losing her lingered like a shadow, always threatening to envelop them. Chapter 3. Trials and Tribulations. As the months passed, Joni and Jack's bond grew stronger, yet the external pressures mounted. Jack distanced himself from the gang, which only drew the ire of his former friends. One night, while they were out celebrating Joni's acceptance into a prestigious scholarship program, they were ambushed by a group of men from Jack's old life. The confrontation escalated quickly, and in a moment of desperation, Jack pushed Joni out of harm's way, taking the brunt of the attack himself. The chaos unfolded in a matter of seconds. Joni screamed as she watched Jack fall to the ground, blood oozing from a gash on his forehead. Panic surged through her as she rushed to his side, cradling his head in her lap. "Stay with me, Jack. Please," she cried, her heart racing. Jack's eyes fluttered open, pain etched across his features, but he managed a reassuring smile. "I'm okay," he whispered, though the blood staining his shirt told a different story. In the aftermath, Jack found himself in the hospital, nursing wounds that went beyond the physical. Joni stayed by his side, refusing to leave, her heart aching for the man who had shown her a glimpse of hope. She spent hours by his bedside, reading to him from her favorite books, trying to distract him from the pain. "You're going to be okay," she reassured him, her voice steady despite the storm of emotions swirling within her. "You're a fighter." As Jack recovered, he made a vow to Joni that he would not return to the streets. They began to devise a plan for their future. Joni would apply for more scholarships, and Jack would work part-time while finishing his education. They faced setbacks, often struggling to make ends meet, but each small victory fueled their determination. However, the scars left by the attack were not just physical. They ran deep into Jack's psyche. Nightmares plagued him, waking him in cold sweats, and he found himself grappling with the fear of being targeted again. Joni noticed the change in him, the way he flinched at loud noises and how his laughter had dimmed. "We'll get through this together," she assured him one evening, taking his hand. "You're not alone." But Jack felt the weight of the world pressing down on him, and he struggled to believe her. Their intimacy grew, yet so did their struggles. The fear of the past clung to Jack like an unwanted shadow, and he often withdrew into himself, leading to misunderstandings between them. Joni, frustrated yet loving, tried to reach him. "You need to talk to me, Jack. I can't help you if you shut me out," she pleaded, her eyes filled with concern. But Jack felt trapped, torn between wanting to protect her from his pain and needing her support. Chapter 4. The Power of Love. Through hard work, determination, and the unwavering support of each other, they began to see the fruits of their labor. Joni's passion for teaching led her to become involved in community outreach programs, while Jack's skills in engineering opened doors to internships. They found themselves surrounded by mentors who believed in their potential, igniting a fire within them to strive for greatness. Yet, the past refused to release its grip on Jack. One fateful evening, while Joni was attending a community meeting, Jack received a threatening message from his former gang. "You can't escape us, Jack. You're still one of us." The fear surged through him, like ice coursing through his veins. He felt the walls closing in, the shadows of his old life creeping back into his consciousness, taunting him with memories of a world he desperately wanted to leave behind. That night, as Joni returned home, she found Jack sitting on the edge of their bed, his face pale and his hands trembling. "What's wrong?" she asked, her voice laced with concern. He hesitated, the weight of the message heavy on his heart. Finally, he revealed the threat, watching as Joni's expression shifted from concern to determination. "We can't let them intimidate you," she said, her brow furrowing. "We'll find a way to make this stop." But Jack felt the darkness closing in around him. "They're not going to let me go that easily, Joni. I can't drag you into this mess," he replied, his voice thick with emotion. "You deserve a life free from this chaos." The thought of losing her was unbearable, and he struggled to reconcile his love for her with the dangers of his past. Days turned into weeks, and the threat loomed larger than ever. Jack began to withdraw, isolating himself to protect Joni. He worked tirelessly at his internship, pouring everything he had into his studies, but the constant worry gnawed at him. Joni noticed the changes, the way he flinched at sudden noises, the haunted look in his eyes that seemed to grow darker with each passing day. She felt helpless, watching the man she loved spiral deeper into fear and despair. One evening, as rain poured outside, Jack returned home to find Joni sitting on the couch, her eyes red from crying. "I can't keep doing this," she confessed, her voice breaking. "I feel like I'm losing you." The word struck Jack like a knife, and he felt the weight of his choices crashing down around him. "I'm trying to protect you," he shouted, his voice echoing in the small apartment. "You don't understand what I'm up against." "I understand more than you think," Joni replied, her voice firm yet trembling. "We're in this together, Jack. You don't have to fight this battle alone." The passion in her words ignited something within him, a flicker of hope that pushed back against the despair. He reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers, feeling the warmth of her presence, grounding him amidst the storm. "I don't want to put you in danger," he murmured, his voice softer now. "But I don't want to lose you either." Chapter 5. Rising Above. As the days passed, Joni and Jack faced their greatest challenge yet. The gang's threats grew more aggressive, culminating in a confrontation outside the community center. Jack had just finished a late shift when he spotted a group of men lurking in the shadows, their eyes fixed on him with malicious intent. His heart raced as he realized they had been watching him, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. "Stay back," Jack shouted, stepping forward defiantly as Joni caught up to him. She sensed the danger before she even saw the man. "Jack, we should go," she urged, grabbing his arm. But he stood his ground, a fierce protectiveness surging within him. "I'm not afraid of you," he called out to the gang members, his voice steady despite the fear gripping his heart. The men laughed, stepping closer, their intentions clear. "You think you can just walk away, Jack? You're still one of us." One of them spat, stepping into the light. Jack's fists clenched, the memories of their past life flooding back, memories of loyalty, brotherhood, and the price of leaving. "I'm not part of that life anymore," he replied, his voice unwavering. Joni felt a rush of fear and pride, admiring his bravery but terrified of what might happen next. Suddenly, the confrontation escalated. The gang members lunged at Jack, but he instinctively pushed Joni behind him. "Run!" he shouted, adrenaline coursing through his veins as he prepared to defend her. But before she could react, a fist connected with his jaw, sending him sprawling to the ground. Joni screamed, rushing to his side as the chaos erupted around them. In that moment, the world slowed down. Joni felt a mix of rage and fear. "Get up, Jack," she cried, her voice rising above the chaos. She saw the fire in his eyes, the determination to protect her and himself. With a surge of adrenaline, Jack fought back, grappling with the men around him, fueled by love and desperation. Just as the situation seemed hopeless, the sound of sirens pierced the air. The gang members hesitated, glancing at each other in disbelief. "We need to go," one of them shouted, and in a flurry of movement, they retreated into the shadows, leaving Jack and Joni shaken but alive. In the aftermath, as they sat on the curb, the weight of what had just happened settled heavily on their shoulders. Joni cradled Jack's wounded face in her hands, tears streaming down her cheeks. "You could have been killed," she cried, her heart racing. "Why did you do that?" Jack looked into her eyes, his heart aching. "Because you're worth fighting for. I'd do it again if it meant keeping you safe." The intensity of their emotions surged to the surface, each of them grappling with the fear of losing the other. "We can't keep living like this," Joni said, her voice trembling. "We need to make a plan. We need to get out." The words hung in the air between them, a lifeline thrown into the storm. Chapter 6: The Road to Freedom. Determined to break free from the chains of their past, Joni and Jack began to devise a plan. They sought help from community organizations, connecting with mentors who had once faced similar struggles. With their guidance, they explored scholarships, job opportunities, and potential safe havens. Jack's engineering skills opened doors, and Joni's passion for teaching became a beacon of hope. As they worked together, they found new strength in their partnership. They spent countless hours in libraries, researching colleges and programs, and dreaming of a future where they could escape the ghetto once and for all. Each late-night study session became a promise, a commitment to their shared dreams and the life they envisioned. However, their journey was not without obstacles. Jack's former gang continued to haunt them, sending messages that whispered threats into their lives, reminding Jack of the life he fought to leave behind. One evening, as they sat on the rooftop of Joni's apartment, watching the sunset paint the sky with hues of orange and purple, Jack shared his fears. "What if they don't let me go?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. "What if they come after us?" Joni looked at him, her heart aching for the man she loved. "We'll face it together," she replied firmly. "We can't let fear dictate our lives. We have to believe in our dreams." Her unwavering faith ignited a spark within Jack, fueling his determination to break free from the past. As graduation approached, they faced a pivotal moment. The temptation of returning to their old lives loomed large, especially for Jack, who was approached by former gang members offering quick cash for a job. He felt the pull of the past, but Joni's unwavering faith in him acted as an anchor. "You've come too far to turn back now," she reminded him. "We have a future to build." On the night of their graduation, amidst the cheers of the crowd, Joni and Jack stood hand in hand, tears of joy streaming down their faces. They had defied the odds, proving that love could indeed triumph over adversity. As they tossed their caps into the air, they made a silent promise to each other. No matter what challenges lay ahead, they would face them together. Conclusion: Joni and Jack's love story is one of resilience, hope, and unwavering commitment amidst the chaos of the ghetto. They emerged from their struggles not only as survivors, but as pioneers of their destinies, forging a path toward a brighter future. Their journey was far from easy, but through love, they discovered the strength to rise above their circumstances and inspire others along the way. In a world where darkness often prevails, their love shone brightly, illuminating the way for those who dared to dream. Their story became a testament to the power of love, a reminder that even in the shadows, hope can flourish, and against all odds, true love can conquer all.